Hello students! Welcome to today's lesson, where we will dive into understanding the basic components like variables, constants, coefficients, and how to use them in algebra. In today's lesson, we will start by discussing how algebra helps us take specific situations and make them general. We will look at the general object markers, variables, unknowns, and constants. Next, we will learn to identify variables, constants, coefficients, and terms in an algebraic equation. Finally, we will break down these concepts and practice identifying each component within different equations, enhancing your ability to simplify and manipulate algebraic expressions. By the end of this lesson, you will have a strong grasp of these algebraic concepts, allowing you to tackle a broader range of mathematical problems. So let's get started. Let's start with some definitions. In algebra, variables are symbols that represent numbers or other mathematical objects. They can be as general as we need them to be. Variables are often letters like X, Y, or even Greek letters such as alpha. Variables allow us to create general expressions that can be used in various situations. Next, we have unknowns. They are specific numbers we aim to find in an equation. While unknowns are also represented by variables, the key difference is that an unknown is a specific value we don't know yet, but need to find. For instance, in the equation 2x plus 3 equals 7, the unknown we're solving for is x. Constants are values that never change. They remain fixed regardless of other variables in the equation. For example, in the expression 3x plus 5, the number 5 is a constant. A coefficient is a number that multiplies a variable or unknown in an expression. For example, in the expression 3x, the number 3 is the coefficient of x. It tells you how many times the variable is being multiplied. Great. Now let's try and identify these components in real algebraic equations. Consider the equation y equals 2x plus 4. In this equation, x and y are variables because they can take on different values. If we know the value of x but not y, then y is our unknown, as it is the value we need to determine. The number 4 in this equation is a constant as it does not change. The number 2 in front of x is called a coefficient. It multiplies the variable x and shows how much x contributes to the value of y. Let's break down another equation, 3a minus 5, b plus 7 equals 0. A and b are the variables. Depending on the context, either a or b could be unknowns we aim to solve for. The number 7 is a constant. The numbers 3 and minus 5 are coefficients. They indicate how much a and b contribute to the overall equation. Now we can confidently identify the components of algebraic equations. Let's apply this new knowledge to some more examples and simple problems. Consider the equation 4x plus 7 equals 19. Identify the components and then solve. In this equation, x is the variable because it can take different values. The number 7 is a constant because it does not change. The number 4 in front of x is the coefficient because it multiplies the variable x. The unknown here is x as it is the value we need to find. Now to solve for x. Subtract 7 from both sides of the equation, which leaves us with 4x equals 12. Then divide both sides by 4, which leaves us with x equals 3. So the solution to the equation 4x plus 7 equals 19 is x equals 3. Let's break down another equation and then solve it. We have 5y minus 3 equals 2. In this equation, y is the variable. The number minus 3 is a constant. The number 5 in front of y is the coefficient. The unknown here is y, as it is the value we need to find. Now to solve for y, we add 3 to both sides of the equation, which simplifies to 5y equals 5. We then divide both sides by 5, which simplifies to y equals 1 dot. So comma, the solution to the equation 5ya minus 3 equals 2 is y equals 1. Now let's look at a slightly more complex equation. Here we have 3a plus 2b equals 12. In this equation, a and b are the variables. There is no constant added or subtracted in this equation. The numbers 3 and 2 in front of a and b, respectively, are the coefficients. Depending on the context, Either A or B could be the unknowns we aim to solve for. Let's say we want to solve for A when B is known. Suppose B equals 2. Substitute B with 2 in the equation, which simplifies to 3A plus 4 equals 12. Subtract 4 from both sides, which simplifies to 3A equals 8. Divide both sides by 3, which simplifies to A equals 8 over 3, or approximately 2.67. So the solution to the equation 3A plus 2B equals 12, when B is 2, is A equals 2.67. In today's lesson, we discussed various key terminology, starting with how variables are symbols that represent numbers and can vary, while unknowns are specific values we aim to find within equations. We also learnt that constants are fixed values that do not change, and coefficients are numbers that multiply variables, indicating their contribution to an equation. We then practiced identifying these components in different algebraic expressions. By breaking down these elements, we established a foundational understanding essential for simplifying and manipulating algebraic expressions. This knowledge sets the stage for solving more complex algebraic problems and exploring algebra further. Watch the rest of the GCSE Maths course at Sophos Education.